amount of quarrel, a certain amount of disagreement. Disagreement is not the end of the world. Disagreement can be the beginning of the world. Disagreement can bring new understanding. And sometimes the role of a question, of a query, of a contesting point is as important as a supporting point. See, you have it's a wonderful, it sounds like a Zen sentence. See, that Rabbi Yochanan who was the great scholar and so on. He had his brother-in-law they were always disputing. Every time there was a dispute between them. So there was a time when Reish Lakish, the father-in-law, had to hide, and they asked the president of the place asked Rabbi Yochanan to say. Rabbi Yochanan tried to make a movement as if clapping hands with one hand. So he said, I cannot do it with one hand. I need two hands. So let's say he's always asking you questions. So of course, he asking me a question. I answer. I give him an answer. He asks another question. I give him a better answer, and so on. That's how the Torah goes. If there are no questions, there won't be any answers. You can have people doing things. You can have a certain amount of quarrel, a certain amount of disagreement. Disagreement is not the end of the world. Disagreement can be the beginning of the world. Disagreement can bring new understanding. And sometimes the role of a question, of a query, of a contesting point is as important as a supporting point. See, you have it's a wonderful, it sounds like a Zen sentence. See, that Rabbi Yochanan who was the great scholar and so on. He had his brother-in-law they were always disputing. Every time there was a dispute between them. So there was a time when Reish Lakish, the father-in-law, had to hide, and they asked the president of the place asked Rabbi Yochanan to say. Rabbi Yochanan tried to make a movement as if clapping hands with one hand. So he said, I cannot do it with one hand. I need two hands. So let's say he's always asking you questions. So of course, he asking me a question. I answer. I give him an answer. He asks another question. I give him a better answer, and so on. That's how the Torah goes. If there are no questions, there won't be any answers.
One of the greatest mysteries in history is the secret of Jewish survival. How did a fledgling nation, under severe oppression, not just thousands of years ago, but through the millennia, how did they not just survive, but thrive? When all other empires, literally every one, the Egyptian, the Assyrian, the Babylonian, the Greek, the Persian, the Roman, the Spanish Empire, and many more are literally gone. How did they make it? How did the Jews flourish and grow? And today still a minority dominate headlines and continue to be such a powerful presence and influence in this world. My friends, the secret lies in three things: the Torah, students, and love. When Moshe Rabbeinu, Moses, came down from Mount Sinai, he brought with him the Torah, a document, a mandate, a divine mandate from God, a blueprint for life. Tremendous scholarship, all included in that Torah. The written Torah, the oral Torah, as it would be developed through the years that followed. But it wasn't just a book. It wasn't just a body of literature. Students. Moshe Rabbeinu had students. He taught. He taught these students. So you can have a book, you can have many books, but if you don't have students, who's living it? Who's teaching it? Who's breathing it? And then love, all saturated with what Rabbi Akiva called the Klal Gadol B'Torah, the fundamental principle, foundation, and cornerstone of all of Judaism, all of Torah. V'ahavta l're'echa kamocha. Love your fellow like yourself. You take these three ingredients and bring them together, and you have the secret to eternity. The Torah, of course, is the blueprint, is the teachings, is the guidebook, a roadmap for life. Without that, you don't have a centerpiece, you don't have a hub. The Torah provides a framework, an infrastructure that guides us in every area of life, both on the halachic level, law, the philosophical level, the spiritual level. Pshat, Remez, Drusad, Pardes, the literal, the allegorical, the Talmudic, the homiletic, and the mystical, with all its dimensions, the written, the oral, the Talmud, the Mishnah, the Gemara, the Zohar, the Midrashim, and through all the generations, a body of work that is still not fully appreciated, that lays out a comprehensive framework for life, every aspect of life, from litigation to damages, to how to live a spiritual life, how to live a transcendent life. That, of course, is the centerpiece. But a Torah without a community, without people, without students, remains a book, remains abstract. It is the students that bring it alive. So it's an education system that's passed on ish mipi ish, a Masorah, a chain that's passed on from Moshe, like we say in the Pirkei Avot, in the ethics of the fathers, Moshe kibel Torah Sinai. Moshe received the Torah from Sinai, u'Masara Yeshua. He gave it to Joshua. And Joshua, Yeshua, l'skenim, to the sages. And skenim l'nevim. And he continues on through the generations, passing on teacher to student, word of mouth. Well, what are they passing on? The teachings. So you have the teachings and now living and developing through different students. And all saturated and all with an undercurrent of love, which also emphasizes a critical component here. When you have a book, and without students, without a vibrant, living Torah, it can be quite static. But human beings give it life and also give it diversity. Because ein dea se'en shavas. No two people think alike. And part of the Torah is that dynamic of dialogue, of debate, of argument and counter-argument. Shammai and Hillel, Rav and Shmuel, the Chachamim and Rab Meir. And even in the time of Moshe Rabbeinu, it was critical that there be discussion, because that diversity adds a dimension that can only come from different approaches. And when you have the love does not mean everyone is a clone and we're all the same. Love means harmony within diversity. And that's, in brief, the secret. When you combine those elements, you have something that's indestructible. The Torah is there, the integrity of the Torah, the students give it that life, and the love makes sure that it remains within a framework, a structure, that to harmony, a greater harmony. Beauty is always a combination of many different colors or musical notes, creating a greater tapestry, symphony. We're gathered here to honor the third yahrzeit of Rav Adin Steinsaltz. And I want to thank the Shalhevis learning community, the Steinsaltz Yeshiva, Steinsaltz Center, Beth Tfilah, and all those that make this event possible. And Rav Adin personified and captured all these three elements. Torah giant. Look at the books that he authored, the different projects. Many still are being developed. The Torah. Students. Established a yeshiva. Number of yeshivas. Many students. So it's not just the man. His students carry on the legacy, continue the teaching, the approach, and all saturated with a profound love. When you look at the diversity of the different people Rabbi Din inspired, educated, that diversity tells you much. You know, one of the challenges in our time is there may be great scholars and there may be great pious people, but they don't often get along with each other. You want to be Melamed Chus, find merit? Yes, because people have strengths and sometimes difficult for them to understand and appreciate another strength. But the greatest strength of all, of MS,